Foundation 45 is a 501c3 nonprofit that funds counseling services for mental health, addiction, and suicide survivors. In addition to providing services, it works to break the stigma surrounding these topics. Foundation 45 recognizes that musicians, artists, and creative types are often at a higher risk for issues with mental health and addiction. The organization's goal is to serve the Dallas-Fort Worth creative community by providing free, top-tier mental health and recovery services. You can learn more about Foundation 45 at foundation45.org. Foundation 45. Live fast, die old. I'm Andrew Sherman. I'm a Texas transplant who has always been in pursuit of art as a career. I've played in bands, pursued an acting career in Hollywood, but I found it behind the lens of a camera here in Dallas, Texas. I was born in New York, I've lived in Chicago, Los Angeles, Austin, but I love Dallas. There's a magical artistic scene in Dallas that mostly goes unnoticed to the outside world. This podcast is focused on what makes it so special and the people who make it thrive artistically. If you don't live here, and even if you do, you might not have heard of them. This is the Dallas Famous Podcast.
So who you gonna be? Who you gonna be when you're all grown up? Who you gonna be? Who you gonna be when you're all for us? Yeah.
This week on the Dallas Famous Podcast, my guest is Steven Holt. Steven is truly Dallas famous. He's been fronting bands in Dallas that people have loved for decades. His first band, Tablet, had great success locally, and he opened up for some huge bands. Since then, he's kept his songwriting going in different projects, and has put together the band I Love You, and is putting out songs and playing shows again. I'd never met Steven, and I really like the different directions this conversation went. Also, I am now a huge Steven Holt fan, and after this, I think you're going to be too. Here he is. We are back at the Deep Ellum Community Center, and I am sitting with Mr. Steven Holt. He is I would say, a Dallas legend in the music scene. You've been a member of many well-loved bands and some success, and you've got a new band, so welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So
Great to be here.
Great. Awesome. So I know that you're from Vernon.
Yes.
I don't personally know where Vernon is, though.
Vernon is in West Texas. It's about 3 hours west of here, sort of northwest of here a little bit, or maybe just due west, but it's 287. So if you're going skiing in Colorado,
okay,
you'll probably go through Vernon. A lot of people do. Vernon was Roy Orbison's hometown.
Oh, okay.
And that's one of the things. We have Roy Orbison Day there.
Is that something growing up that influenced you in any way?
Yeah, yes. Especially when when the Traveling Wilburys came out, I was really proud of that. I thought that was really cool. And then not long after that, they established Roy Orbison Day, and I was like, finally, come on, man. This guy was, I was really surprised they hadn't tried to get something going sooner, because he was the Beatles.
Yeah, he's
loved
huge.
him. They marveled at it, and his songs were crazy. If you look at the structures of them, In Dreams it's just one section, a new section, and it goes on and just builds some sort of strange emotional dynamic, and just ends at the highest point, and he was very innovative in his voice.
Yeah.
Was a really very weird looking.
Yeah, very weird looking. I remember when he first came, it was Wilburys because I was from not Texas, and yeah, there's something about him. I didn't get it at first, but he's amazing. I mean,
yeah, I understand. I didn't get it at first either, but you start getting into songwriting and things like that, you're just holy.
Yeah. Is there anything about him that kind of reflects Vernon specifically, or
Vernon's a weird place. My friend calls it this strange portal, because there've been so many people that have become famous that have had either lived in Vernon or had some sort of interaction with Vernon. One example that's kind of strange is Barack Obama's mother. she in her autobiography, she talks about Vernon and how that's, I think I can't remember whether she was dating a Hispanic man or what the deal is, but that was, according to her first experience with racism. And Vernon has evolved. It is not, I wouldn't say it's like that anymore. I don't live there anymore, but I've noticed some really big changes on that front, on just people, kind of evolving. And, but yeah, there's that, and there's a lot of other things as well. And I can't remember, but it is strange when you look at it. There's like a lot of different people that have some strange connection to Vernon.
Huh.
Yeah. There was the Vernon Savings, the Vernon Savings and Loan scandal was one of the savings and loan scandal that rocked Reagan in the 80s. That was a big touchstone for that, was in Vernon with Vernon Savings and Loan.
Huh.
And these guys were just, dude, they were going wild. Like they were hiring escorts. They were, they were buying properties. They were all doing with basically fraudulent loans, and they just went crazy. Like they were just like drunken sailors or something,
Right,
just
felt like
keys to the kingdom,
like get away with anything.
Yeah.
Wild. So, okay. So growing up there, like, I mean, maybe not Roy, but like, what was the first, like, music is something to me that seems more special than to other people around me.
Yeah. Well, probably because like my friendships starting in like the 3rd grade, there was a guy named Chris Carr, and he and I became best friends because we were both so into music, and we were into similar types of music, and like heavy metal was a part of that, and so that was the first inkling, and even before that, like my sister and I, she had a record player in her room, and I just remember loving going to her room and like listening to, like, she had like the Tiny Bubbles 45, Don Ho, and she had the Coke song, and she had Muskrat Love.
I remember that one.
And so I was always like, and then I just remember too going to the store and trying to get my mother to buy, like I remember Frampton Comes Alive. Like I didn't even know what it was, but the cover, I was looking at the cover, and I used to love live records, like Kiss Alive 2, like I loved when I could transport myself mentally to being there at the show, because we didn't have anything like that,
Right.
And I had one chance. The Clash came through, and they had a show that had been canceled for some reason by the venue, I think, and they transferred the show to Wichita Falls, which was less than an hour away. It's about 50 minutes away. And the Clash played Wichita Falls on the Combat Rock tour.
Wow.
Like
the biggest one, basically.
I mean, and I was, but I think I can't remember, was that like 82 or 84? I don't know. I was either 12 or 14, so there was no chance my parents were going to take me to see the Clash. But
Right.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So then, at what point did you actually like go? I just like start playing something, or maybe start singing? What came first for you?
Well, I took piano lessons. I hated it. I would always like sing along to stuff and sing in my car, but I never thought that I could write songs or put anything together. But I always was like, I think my voice is okay. My dad was a minister, and so I was always having to sing in church. You stand up and sing the hymn.
Right.
And so And I think that's, and my mother would always sing to me, try to get me to sing. And I think that somehow kind of conditioned me to like, make sure that the notes were in key, you know, and maybe, I don't know, just exercise them a bit. But then when I was I think I was taking prerequisites for I think I was already in chiropractic college by this point, but it was probably like 91 or so. A friend of mine, I think I believe I went to Chumley's, or I started going to these poetry readings, which were really interesting at the time. Like, they were kind of crazy. And there were some really strange, like, kind of transient people that would get up there. And they were truly, like, they weren't kidding. They were, you know, some of them were like transients, you know? And so you never knew it was exciting. You never knew what was going to happen. One of the guys that I met there had written some songs, and we got together, and, you know, over a few beers, he was showing me these songs, and I just kept thinking of like improvements, and he liked the ideas that I had. And then I was like, you know, trying to work with someone and explain where I want the song to go. I don't have any knowledge of, you know, I need to learn how to play guitar. And so I was just like, I've got to learn to do this. So I got the Lou Reed anthology, and I got the Beatles anthology. And they had like, you know, the little places to put your fingers on the guitar, tabs, right? Yeah. And so I just started playing like that, which was great because it teaches you, those writers in particular will teach you how to write songs. They throw in really interesting chords, which I should do more. But at the time, I was learning chords. But basically, that's how I learned to write songs. And I just really enjoyed it. And then, do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, please.
Well, I met a guy named Michael Vey at the Art Bar, and I think it was at the Art Bar, but anyway, I was like, hey, you know, we were talking. He's like, well, I play bass, and I was like, well, I've got these songs, you know, do you want to hear them? And so I came over to his house and played him the songs. He liked them. And he had a studio in his garage, just like a rehearsal studio with like a real simple recording setup. And so we started putting a band together. And one of our first rehearsals, we had John Bush from the New Bohemians was playing drums. And man, he had one rehearsal with us, and we never heard from him again. It was so terrible, you know. But
oh, that's funny.
But you know, we kept at it, and we got better and better. We ended up finding a drummer, Dave Christopher, and then also a guitar player named Paul Williams, who was playing with a girl at the time. He and this girl were kind of playing, and she would sing, and so we got him to join, and that's what became Tablet. That was like, yeah, that was...
So wait, so let me just... That was a lot. So you basically had never been in a band, and that really wrote songs, and then the first kind of project became Tablet.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, and Tablet did really well here.
Yeah, we did really well, and... you know, I wish I could have enjoyed it more. Like I was, I just, you know, sometimes I wouldn't go back and change anything, but I really wish that I could know what I know now then.
Sure.
And just enjoy what was happening, realize how rare it is, you know, and, you know, but it was great. Mm-hmm. It was really cool. Yeah.
Let me ask you, like, I mean, this probably has changed, but when you first kind of really were doing it, like, what did you enjoy most? Like being a live performance or writing or just hanging out with the guys? Like what is it about the band thing that you really started with?
My favorite my favorite thing is still my favorite thing. It's writing songs and, the good ones. Like when you have a good song and then watching it like come to life. Either now it's like we make it come to life in the studio and then we make it come to life in rehearsal, right? But then it would come to life, in rehearsal. And that's still the biggest kick that I get out of it is just like, when you're performing it or you're hearing it come to life and like the hair stands up on your arms or the back of your neck and it's just nothing like it. And, it's like the feeling of at the time, it's not so much now, but at the time it was like finally there's something that I'm really good at, like I'm not.
At what point did you start feeling that way? Because when you started, you probably weren't very confident because you've just never done it before. But then you start doing shows, writing good songs. Like, at what point did you go, "This is happening for me. Like, this is what I'm going to be doing"?
And this is probably really naive and delusional, but I really believed, like from the beginning, pretty much from the beginning, that it was good and. It just kept going. Like, now we've got a manager and now we've got a publishing deal and okay, now we have a record deal, and it just kept going like that. And even afterward, like it was just like all these resources were available to me for free that, and I really should have appreciated that more at the time. I wish I had, but I just sort of saw it. I also kind of saw it as a fruit of my labor, but and some of that's probably like whistling in the graveyard a little bit, like but you have to have confidence. I just think when you're immature, that confidence can be, sometimes it doesn't have the solid foundation beneath it that it should, Well,
plus your first band you're having success. That's not normal.
Yeah,
either,
yeah. So, to me, it seemed like, okay, I finally found this thing that I'm good at. And, it was also something that was going to rescue me from like academia, because like, man, I had been in school for so long, and like the school that I was at, we were doing like 27 to 33 hours a semester. So like my whole life was going to school and studying and sleeping. That was basically it. And so, I was starting to get burned out. And then here's this thing that's completely refreshing, and I'm good at it, and I'm being rewarded for it. And so it was really nice, Yeah. It was really nice.
You had some good gig. You opened for some big bands.
Yeah.
Like how close do you feel like that got to like maybe a hit song or something? Like were you even close to that, or I don't know the process?
So we had, it's funny that this is called Dallas Famous, because that is exactly what we were. Like we had like several different songs that were in heavy rotation on the radio. Like I think it was Q102 at the time, and also I think like 97.1. Yeah. I don't remember what it was called at the time, but yeah, we had like, and it was just okay, we had Redbeard was promoting us real heavily, and he had a nationally syndicated music show. So it was really cool. It was also funny though, because we kind of like the crest of that grunge wave had like it was sort of like Charles Manson for the hippies when Kurt Cobain killed himself, supposedly, when he killed himself, that all of a sudden the whole music industry was like, it changed.
Oh yeah.
And so I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
Yeah. You were on Mercury at that point, is that right?
Yeah.
Do you remember a band Greta?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, they were on Mercury out of LA. They were my friends.
Oh, okay.
And it basically...
Who signed them? Do you know? Was it Aaron Jacoby's?
That doesn't...
Does that sound familiar?
I mean, I don't...
Okay, okay.
I was not close to that part of it. But,
okay.
But yeah, but like they... the singer, Paul, who's passed away now, he was... he had struggled with drugs, and he literally took the bed that Kurt fled from at the rehab center.
Oh, no.
And as soon as Kurt died, yeah, like their whole thing was done too because of that connection. So
because if you had any sort of connection to that,
it's a good thing, but it just
well, I mean
the drug part, I'm saying,
yeah, that part's good for sure. Yeah, it's weird too now, like it's so cool to look back on that. And I mean, because like kids love that era. Like they love, like I really like that, Like my son, he's 22 and he's familiar with all that stuff and, likes it. So it's pretty cool. I like that a lot. Like, sure. I like that it's sort of like they dig it.
I'm jumping ahead a lot, but is there some of that sound that's in I Love You Now from that early grunge kind of vibe, or is it
the only I guess there's maybe a little, but no, not really. Like this, it's funny, like I started really getting into, there was some point where I became more open-minded and started listening to a lot of different music, and Spotify really helped with that. Like I was introduced to so much, and that's in Vernon. That's how I would get exposure to new stuff, is through a friend, usually an older friend. And they, like this sophomore, when I was like a freshman, there was a sophomore that introduced me to the Minutemen and the B-52s and the Kinks and like all this great stuff. So Spotify sort of did the same thing for me. And I started getting into like Erasmo Carlos. Have you ever heard of him? He's a Brazilian artist, but he's a rock artist. It's rock and roll. And like his albums are so weird. Like there's one of his records, it uses like a lot of like vocal instrumentation, and it sort of reminds me of the Talking Heads, like Remain in Light, where they were using a lot of like those African rhythms, but a lot of it was vocal repetitions that are almost like, it's almost like a machine that you can of sound you can watch in the air, if you're in the right mood. But Erasmo Carlos, I started getting back into like New Order. I love them. A lot of new stuff as well. Like my wife is younger than me, so she shows me like Blood Orange and Frank Ocean, and
well, I'm guessing your son too has probably introduced you to stuff at times,
yeah. She my son introduces me to a lot of stuff I don't like at all, but my parents did not like punk rock.
Yeah.
They did not, they didn't like me listening to Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. They didn't, so like Ozzy Osbourne, all that stuff.
My mom trying to give my Violent Femmes tapes away to someone because she just didn't want them in the house.
Yeah. And like the drugs and stuff, like this is my son, and I'm like, man, I see what it is, and I mean, some of that stuff seems like it's just recruitment information for prisons, like it's just like trying to make all these felonies normal, and so but yeah, like if it's, like I like Kendrick Lamar, if it's creative, if there's novelty, if there's like really cool sounds, if it's doing something different, and it's mainly on the creative tip, like that's the main force of it. And there's some sort, and there's hooks. Mm-hmm. Like I love hooks. Then I like it. And it's weird too. The girls at school. So I'm a teacher. I know you've got that, but I teach at an all-girls school. It's a DISD school, and my girls are mostly Hispanic, and they've like shown me a lot of cool stuff. So I started getting into like Los Tigres del Norte, and they don't listen to that, but their parents do. They listen to Los Tigres del Norte, but I like them. Oh my God, who is the crazy? He's like the originator of the narco corrido. Oh my gosh, I wish I could remember his name right now, but it escapes me. Anyway, a lot of that stuff, like basically I'm listening for like interesting new things. My songs are, they're laden with hooks, and we're just trying, the main battles we have right now with these songs are trying to come up with the most interesting drums that we can, especially just to make it more exciting. That's something that's developing as we record, and interesting sounds. And, but the melodies, the song structures, that sort of thing, that's less challenging than making the recording sound interesting and exciting, So like, there's a lot of dance influence, believe it or not. And there's just a lot of, I don't know, man, trying to find novelty, and also just trying to be more honest. Like, I write about my my writing is a lot more honest.
Well,
and I work on my lyrics a lot more than I used to just try to make them as honest and as interesting as I can. But
when you were a younger writer, lyric-wise, like
lyrics weren't so great. Like I was just lazy.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it wasn't that I couldn't. It's just that I would not. I just didn't have the discipline to, write it down and then revisit it. And it's so easy to do that now. Mm-hmm. Like you can, I can have my lyrics on me all the time, and just anytime it strikes my fancy, or if I'm just thinking about the lyrics, or an interesting turn of phrase comes across, or an interesting word to try to make something rhyme with. Yeah.
now the poison is, they put the poison inside the tree. And now the poison is, and now the poison is, and now the poison's inside.
Now, I know you're playing with Paul again. Had you done any projects with him since Tablet? Was this the first one back together?
I had a band called The Now, and we recorded that with him.
Okay.
And that was with Joey McClellan and Aaron McClellan and Trey Pendergrass. He plays with Joshua
Ray Walker.
Ray, yeah. He plays with him now. Incredible drummer.
Oh, yeah.
But the drummer for I Love You
Max
is
Hartman.
an incredible dude.
Yeah, he's been on our show, actually.
He's a great drummer.
Is he? Okay.
Oh my God! Like he doesn't promote himself as a drummer at all, but that's his original instrument. And dude, I call him Sugarfoot, man. Like he has such a sweet pocket and a sweet kickfoot.
Is
Like
a great name for
dude,
a drummer.
he is. He's yeah.
Yeah, no, I love Max. So I saw him perform with Murr the first time when I first got to town.
Oh,
and,
cool.
Yeah, which was cool. I have photos of that somewhere. And then I was working at Artco, and he's friends with John over there and Carrie. So then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, because like he was talking about acting the whole time, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're the guy from Murr though, and so. Well,
yeah,
you know, and then I had him on, and yeah, he's
very talented.
I would love
man.
to see.
He's very talented, and he's pretty low key about it. Like I had to find out from someone else that he could even play drums.
No, when he came in here, I was a little bit surprised that he was not more self-promoting, because he's like a lot more humble than I would have assumed, because he's like, you know, when you're a performer, you're an actor especially, you're out there and you are a little bit you have to promote yourself, and he just wasn't like that. It was interesting.
Yeah, he's a genuinely a very nice person.
Yeah, Sweetheart comes to mind, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because this is Dallas Famous. Like we went through your history, but I want to back up a little bit. When you were not yet living in Dallas, did you were you looking towards Dallas in any way, musically or otherwise, or?
Not really. No, I was.
Well, how did you get here then?
So it was for school.
Okay.
I went to Southwest Texas State. I think I'd finished my. Oh my God, what's the initial thing that your first 2 years? No, before your BA.
I don't even know.
Oh gosh, I forget. But anyway,
yeah.
I did that in Vernon. Then I went to Southwest Texas State. It's now called Texas State in San Marcos. Spent a lot of time on the weekends at clubs in Austin, but I saw the Pixies on the Doolittle tour in Austin, and that was life-changing, but I spent a lot of time in a dance club called Backstreet that was it was a really, really cool club. It had the most amazing lights. It was incredibly dark. New Order, when they were in town, they came to that club. Oh, wow. Incredible sound, incredible DJ. So I was into that too. then I had to move to Dallas to finish my prerequisites for chiropractic college, and I went to North Lake and then TCJC, which I think is Tarrant College now, and to finish that, and then I started chiropractic college. Yeah, and so that's how I ended up in Dallas. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, and I knew a little bit about the Dallas scene, but it was real hippy dippy. Like Club
Really?
Dada. Well, to me it was
More than
like,
Austin at the time?
well, dude, Austin had like the Butthole Surfers, and y'all had Ed Hall. Do you remember Ed Hall at all? Like they were really weird. Meat Puppets, weren't they from Austin?
I think so.
I think they were. Anyway, Dallas, but Dallas had a lot of interesting things going on. And I wasn't by any means Mr. Hardcore, but like I wasn't into some of the bands. I don't want to mention any of them, but I wasn't into some of them. I respected their ability as musicians, but like I really liked Lou Reed. So I wasn't impressed by like your ability to come from North Texas and, show your skills on stage.
It's interesting too. Like, it's not unusual. Like Salim Nural is an example, but like, I don't really sense any Americana country vibe in any of your music. I mean, that's like your influence. You're like the new wave kind of stuff to start with. And
yeah, just basically like first of all, I'm like, I know now, like if everybody is following, if they're all going this way, I'm going to go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm not doing that intentionally, but like anytime I see like a popular wave and I see people who were doing one type of music change into a caricature to play another type of music because it's like popular, mm-hmm. and it's not genuine, then I'm just not attracted to that,
Sure. Yeah.
And it's not because I fell prey to that when Nirvana like came out, and like when grunge started, I was like, ooh, what is this? And I thought that we needed to be more like that. And that's just absolutely a terrible thing to do, Yeah. It is not. But when you're insecure and you don't feel, you don't have real true confidence, then you're going to do stuff like that, mm-hmm. Or if you're just trying to make money, you're trying to get girls or whatever, maybe you have some other motivation, but I'd really like now to put something interesting and hopefully really good in front of people, and hopefully like people like it. So,
yeah. What would be your definition of success with this band?
Man, it's funny is, we have two girls, Lizzie and Sarah, and they're sort of our promotional team. And we've been talking to them, but like I saw the Chats videos and I saw Wet Leg come over, and I started seeing their videos and I was like, wow, they're promoting, these are like smaller bands. At least I thought the Chats was. I don't know, maybe they had a deal, but they looked like it was all DIY mm-hmm. when they first started. Mm-hmm. And it looked real, like it looked that way, and I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. I don't really like their music, but I like what they're doing. And so I was just like, man, we need to promote this stuff in Europe, man. Mm. We really need to, because I just, I don't know. I think it'll be appreciated here in Dallas. I think it could be appreciated, but I think the thing is like, with the focus on songwriting and melodies and trying to have really big hooks and just being completely original, I don't know. I think it would have more appeal especially in like England, but I think it would have more appeal over there. So, that's one of the things is like we've got these videos already that Daniel Huffman from The New Fumes made. And so, we should use that to promote more over there, and then maybe go over and do some touring over there. That
fun.
To me, that would be success.
Yeah.
Like to play in some decent clubs or to begin to build something up over there. I'd really like that. Yeah. Plus it'd be great to go over there, and just tour during the summer and experience all that.
Oh, yeah. That would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
So also, I think Jason told me you're expecting a baby. Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know, man. I started taking, I joke around, but like I started taking this supplement that's called NAD. It's like a nicotinamide. And I was told French ladies used to take it in the 80s. They would take it so that they wouldn't sunburn. And the first I heard about it from my dermatologist because I love the sun. And like he told me about it and said, hey, this reduces, they did a study, it reduces skin cancer by 40%.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. And he goes, so imagine what else it does for you. And I started looking into it, and it's incredible. Like this guy, Dr. David Sinclair at Harvard, he's been researching it, and he basically explained it that the tiniest arteries that we have that feed our muscles and organs, they wither over time because the epithelial cells, they lose the ability to communicate with each other because this level of something called NAD gets lower as you age. And he is funny. He's got like these two rats that are older rats, the same age, and they're on a treadmill. And the one that's on the NAD is like hooking it. He's like and so it's really funny because that's how I imagine myself as this rat that's on the treadmill, and he's old, but he's still performing. But yeah, my wife, all of a sudden she's pregnant.
Wow.
And I'm just like, and it was shocking and terrifying. And then all of a sudden I was like, you know what? That's really cool. Like, what a surprise. I love novelty. And like, there's nothing funnier than me having my whole life planned out from this point forward, and then all of a sudden it gets completely upended and I'm going to have a baby girl, like
wild.
Yeah, so Laurel and I are having a baby girl. Her name's going to be Goldie. We're going to name her Goldie.
Oh, that's sweet. I like that.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited. And so she's going to have a big brother, and we're going to hopefully, show her how it's done. And
wild. That is crazy. I just became a stepdad to an 8-year-old, and that's...
Oh, wow.
That's a lot. I love it. Yeah, but it's I never thought I'd be a dad at this point.
My wife was a stepmother to my son. Mm-hmm. And so, dude, God bless you. And he loves her, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been really, my life has changed just from that relation. I mean, with my fiance for sure, but with her, it's funny too, because I used to we met on a dating app, and I used to have no kids on there. And like one day I was like, I think I got too many blockades, so I took that off.
Sure.
The next thing you know, here we are. So
yeah, I mean, it's not all rainbows and teddy bears. And I was no kids too after Liam. Mm-hmm. And then this happened. And now all of a sudden, life is going to be way more interesting than I had planned. Yeah.
Wow.
And, I kind of miss... we've been traveling and doing whatever we want to do, but it's not as much fun without a child. Mm-hmm. It's just, I really enjoy being the guy who is in charge of the kids. Mm-hmm. I love that. That they trust you, and like you, and
Yeah, it's wild. Like me and Gwen have been doing pool trips in the community pools, and so that's been our little bonding this summer. So that's been cool.
does the irony does it not escape you?
Oh,
like
it's
that
wild.
You're in the position of authority now.
Yeah,
you're
but
the one.
It's crazy, but
molding young minds.
But it's funny because I used to run an open mic, and I used to call myself the band dad, and I was in Andy Dick's band, and I was like this. I mean, I was 25, but I was still acting like
you were in Andy Dick's band.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a podcast out there.
The things you've seen.
Yeah. I got some good stories for that actually too.
Probably some things you did not want to see.
Yeah, or hear about. Yeah, I'm very versed in certain subjects that I never expected to be. And yeah, I mean, I still love him. It wasn't an act though.
What did you play?
I play guitar. Basically what it was he was a stand-up, but he wasn't a stand-up actually. He was never really a stand-up. He didn't like to be alone, like at all. And so it's like, hey, like you play guitar, like I want to be in a band. Let's write songs. And so we did. And I mean, I didn't really play that well when I met him, and. So what would happen is like I would come up with a riff and then I'd have to play it for like an hour straight while he like wrote words, and so I got really good at rhythm guitar from that.
Sure. Yeah.
And we had a lot. We played Woodstock '99, which I've said on the show. We've done a lot of fun shows.
Wow,
Howard
cool.
Stern, but it in the end it was fun, and it didn't lead to anything for me other than a lot of really cool experiences.
Good. Yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it too.
Yeah, it was fun. I wouldn't
because I mean you had experiences that no one has.
Yeah, like I mean, like at the whiskey bar, sitting with him and Marilyn Manson, and Marilyn's friend, Manson's friend. It's just the four of us, like, and the two of them are so. They're the two biggest egomaniacs in the world, and they're so in awe of each other that they are like cowering like little fanboys. It was the weirdest moment in Hollywood,
funny.
maybe, but like in that sort of thing. But anyway, so we got the future for the band. You got kids. Like, what have we missed? Is there something you wanted to talk about with what you want with the band, or future plans, or?
Well, I mean, what our future plans are, we're releasing singles. So like I have a completed album's worth of songs, and then I just keep recording and finishing songs. And then right now what we're doing is we're releasing one a month. And so that's the way we're approaching it, instead of releasing the whole thing at once. And I really like that a lot. And our plans right now is, like I said, I think we're going to start promoting more overseas and see what happens there. It's interesting, that publishing deal that I did with Sony, I'm getting paid from that, and a lot of where the songs are being played is like in Europe, Israel. So it's really strange. Like, but anyway, I want to keep promoting over there, or start promoting over there, and then just keep playing shows here, trying to get better and better, and adding another member to the band. And
how long is your set with just songs from this band?
50 minutes.
Okay. I mean, do you throw older songs in ever?
Nope.
It's just all the new material.
No, and it's getting longer. Like, we're gonna throw in, we're gonna cover the song "Tenderness." You know that song?
I love that song.
I love that song too.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it crazy?
I was just thinking that's a song that should be brought back by somebody.
Yeah, we're
cool.
Yeah, we're doing that in the studio right now.
That's real.
That structure of that song is very strange.
Yeah,
by the way,
yeah.
Like, it has like a post chorus that comes up twice, and then a bridge that's sort of like the post chorus, but not.
Yeah.
And yeah, the arrangement's really strange. The backing vocals, the back and forth between Roger and the singer are really strange.
And Roland's voice is so interesting too, but like I don't think that's what makes the song. It's the structure is really cool.
Yeah.
I had that. I played that cassette till it wore out.
Me too,
actually.
man.
Yeah.
I love that song, and it just like struck me all of a sudden. I was like, why don't you cover that song? You love that. And see, that's sort of the direction. Like, that's a great example of how I'd like for my stuff I'd like for it to be in the same arena as that, you know? So just, I love hooks. And I love interesting, strange lyrics with hooks, and I like humor. So hopefully all that can come together and just have an incredible, like a really novel, something that people will really enjoy listening to and try to pick things out. What is that? What is that?
Cool. And I know, like, this is going to air after your show on the 6th, but do you have, like, other local shows, or are you...
Yeah, we have a show Friday the 13th of September at 3 Links, and that's the only other local show that we booked so far. And so far, it's just us on the bill, but we're talking to some other bands, and we're going to try to make that a really big show. We've got some plans for New Year's that we're trying to put together with another band called Aztec Milk Temple.
Oh, yes.
And we're going to try to put together a really big free show with them and put together a really good bill for that too.
That's
so
exciting, yeah.
Fort Worth, we've been playing in Fort Worth, but like it's really weird out there right now.
What do you mean?
It's hard to explain. Like Fort Worth, like really, my memory of them, Fort Worth has always been incredibly supportive of me. More supportive than Dallas in some ways. Like they just love music out there, and they're really they're even more open to like I love like English rock a lot, like so they're. But right now, there's something going on over there. I don't know what it is. It's people are not. I think people are just not going out, and that's been like something that I've been hearing from people at the clubs and stuff as well, and other bands. So hopefully that, I mean, maybe the economy, I don't know.
Well, I know a few venues closed out there, but you would think that would bring more people to the other venues.
Dude,
so that's
right,
weird
right.
It's not happening that way.
Yeah, and I mean good venues, man.
Yeah.
Like the Twilight Room and
Lola's.
Yeah. Lola's was like been a staple forever.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
So I really hope that and Fort Worth has money too. That's the thing that really surprises me is like, I don't know if the new generation is just like, I don't know. You go down to certain other areas though, just to a bar, and they're packed.
Yeah.
Like they've got new bars down there, but people are they're just getting together socially and drinking.
Right. They're not seeing music. I think that's happening everywhere. I don't think it's just Fort Worth.
God, that's so weird.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they've, the thing is, if the music sucks for long enough and you go out and you pay to see a band and it's not very good, people, they're only going to get burned so many times before they stop.
Sure.
So I don't know, man. Like I haven't been going out, so I don't know. But
I think part of it is, I mean, I go out because I shoot photos, but I don't know that I'd go out as much if I didn't do that to see bands. And it's,
but if you were in your 20s or 30s, dude,
well, I would be.
You'd be going out.
Yeah, for sure.
You'd be parking a mile away and walking to the club and paying your $10 and being happy to do it.
Is
excited.
it $10 anymore is part of that.
Right.
But I mean, I do know that the dance scene is big, and that's drawing a lot of younger people away from the live music
It
stuff.
is, yeah, which is cool.
That's cool.
Dude,
it's just,
like it'll do, and I think all that's great.
Yeah, I'm not taking away from it, but I'm just saying, like, I think that's sucking a lot of those younger people away from live music, and it is what it is.
But I mean, you're seeing that trend even across like the bigger shows, this cancellation of those stadium shows,
Dude,
and like
I was going to be the only photographer at Neil Young, and he canceled twice, and now he just postponed the whole tour.
Yeah,
I was so I'm never gonna get to shoot him probably.
It's weird too. I've been listening to Neil Young, and like I love his songs that are like pop songs. I just love them, like Lotta Love and Only Love Can Break a Heart. I love those songs. Like I love all his stuff. I love Cortez the Killer, all that. But yeah, man, his pop songs are just I just love them because they're so simple. Yeah. And catchy and kind of sweet, like they kind of have a sweet, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and the timbre of his voice, I mean, all of that.
Yeah.
Together. So I mean, I've seen him live, thankfully, but yeah, I'd like to take photos of him.
Yeah, he had an aneurysm that he had repaired.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He almost died. They found out that he had an aneurysm. I guess maybe he started having some symptoms, you know. It's, you know, a balloon it's pressing on part of your brain. It's in the circle of Willis usually, which is this little circle of arteries around your spinal cord or your brainstem, you know. And like that's always where they happen. Like 99% of the time. And he got it fixed. I guess they put a little sheath over it or something, or
thank God.
Sort of probably the same way they do when they fix a hernia, you know, like they just
wild.
Yeah.
I don't know how to wrap it up after that other than to say it was great having you here. I'm looking forward to seeing the band.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. You can check out I Love You. Tell us the Instagram, because I know it's hard to find I Love You.
Yeah, what is the Instagram?
I think it's
God,
I Love You Band
up.
Official, I believe, is what it is.
I Love You Band Official.
I think.
Is that what it is?
Well, because I just listened to your Jason episode.
Okay, I'm going to look right now and tell everybody what it is.
I'm going to have a link as well on the podcast notes, but this is for the Deep Ellum Radio stuff.
Okay, so for I Love You... I can't believe this is happening. Oh, there we go. I Love You Band Official on Instagram. I Love You Band Official. And then there's also Facebook. If you like Facebook, it is... I think it's just I Love You. I Love You... Let me see. I Love You Band Official is also our website.
Okay.
iloveyouBandOfficial.com. But and then we're on Spotify. I think we're on the all the streaming services now.
I'm gonna link all this, but it's just some people aren't gonna look at it, so I just wanted you to say it out loud too.
I think we only have like 3 songs released right now, but there's another song that's we're releasing 1 song each month.
Cool.
You know, just so we can kind of keep the interest, like we can just keep stoking the fire every month. Here's another song.
That's a great idea.
Here's another song, you know. So hopefully that'll, you know, keep people from getting bored, you know, and just slowly build up. The people that come see us live, though, they're going to see all the songs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Steve, you've been somebody that people have been following for a long time. So I hope you have a lot of success. I hope that people find you on this one. And thanks for coming on the show. Regardless, you know, I'm having a lot of fun, especially doing things like this. I really thank you for inviting me, and it's been really fun talking to you. Awesome. Thanks again.
I'd like to thank Steven Holt. You can check out his band I Love You everywhere. The song we heard was Who Killed the Tree. Thank you again to the Deep Ellum Community Center for letting us record there. Theme song Unstoppable by Salim Nuralla. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, follow, all the good stuff, and share it with your friends. We'll see you next time.